everyone! This is my discussion video about force and motion. So, under nito yung Module 1, Week 2 of your Science module. So, let's start. Okay, first, we need to define force. Pag sinabi natin force, it is a simply push or pull of an object. Or simply once na an object has its motion, possible that there is a presence of force. So, causes object to move, so we have here force. Then, all motion is due to forces acting on objects. Meron kasi tayong different types of force. So, just like on this picture, so meron tayong yung hand ng human, then we have here the toy car. So, once na pinush ng human yung toy car, so mag-exert siya ng force, then si toy car mag-exert din ng motion from that force. Next, when we say motion, change of position of object over time. Or simply, kapag umalis siya dun sa tinatawag nating reference point, so move ko lang tong screen ko. So, yung reference point natin in Filipino, ito yung sinasabi nating palatandaan. So, kapag umalis siya dun sa palatandaan, ibig sabihin there is motion. At pag nagkaroon ng motion, ibig sabihin merong nag-exist na force. Okay, next. So, can more than one force act on object at the same time? So, pwede ba yun? Sabay-sabay, hindi lang isang force? So, the answer is yes. So, we have the gravitational force, the friction force, or simply the totality of those force na nag-act dun sa isang object, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay net force. Okay, let's proceed with the two types of force that we have. So, we have the balanced and unbalanced force. Pag sinabi nating balanced force, ang net force niya ay equivalent to 0. So, just like on this example. May motion kaya na mangyayari if ever yung girl ay hinila niya yung rope going to the right side for about 25 newtons. Then, yung boy for going to the left side for 25 newtons. So, remember, sa force natin, ang unit na ginagamit natin kay force ay newtons or kilogram meter per second squared. So, in this example, since magkaiba sila ng direction, isang papunta kay left, isang papunta kay right, so, you're just going to subtract these forces. 25 minus 25 is equivalent to 0 newton. So, since that ang balance force natin, ang definition natin is net force is equivalent to 0. So, that's why yung example natin is an example of a balance force. May motion kapag balance force? So, the answer is no. So, walang motion na nangyari. So, next one naman is we have here the unbalanced force. So, kung kay balance ay kailangan 0 yung ating net force, kay unbalanced force, lahat ng greater than 0 na net force ay mako-considered as unbalanced. So, just like on this example. So, ang violet team, hinihila nila ang rope going to the left side for about 25 newtons. Then, the blue team going on the right side for 40 newtons. So, since magkaiba sila ng direction, again, you are going to subtract these two. 40 newtons minus 25 newtons is equivalent to 15 newtons. Since 15 newtons is greater than 0, so the answer is, or kabilang siya sa ating unbalanced forces. So, another example is this one. In our free fall. This one. So, 50 newtons going down, then 2 newtons going up. Since magkaiba ng direction, pag magkaiba ng direction, you are going to subtract. So, 50 newtons minus 2 newtons is equivalent to 48 newtons. So, that's why unbalanced force. Ibig sabihin nun, may movement na nangyayari, may motion. Next. Only an unbalanced force can change the motion of an object. So, pagdating kasi kay balance, dahil 0 newtons, yung kanyang net force, ibig sabihin, hindi siya gumalaw or walang motion na nangyari. So, another example is this one. So, yung dogs natin ay pareha silang tag 80 newtons yung force. Then, for example, ikaw ito. Then, kunyari, ang force mo is also 80 newtons. Since yung dalawang dogs ay going on the right side, ikaw naman ay going to the left, or magka-opposite kayo ng direction, so ang tendency, you're going to add their force dahil pareho sila ng direction. So, 80 newtons from the first dog, then another 80 newtons dun sa second dog, in a total of 160 newtons. So, kunyari, ikaw ang force na in-exert mo is another 80 newtons. So, 160 newtons from the dogs minus 80 newtons from you. So, it is equivalent to 80 newtons. Ibig sabihin, may movement na nangyari. Next, what would happen if unbalanced force acted on an object that is already in motion? So, this happens kapag meron tayong mga road accidents. So, kunyari, tuloy-tuloy na umaandar yung isang vehicle, for example, yung baby bus. So, tuloy-tuloy siyang umaandar and then, bigla siyang na-hit by a jeepney. Umaandar din yung jeepney, bigla silang nagkabanggaan. So, what will happen? So, the thing that will happen next na possible is they will change in direction. Kaya nga, there are some cases na kapag tayo ay merong mga road accidents, minsan may natatama ang mga tao, may natadamay, or tumatama sila sa poste or other establishment. Kasi nag-change siya ng speed. Kasi nga, magsasama yung speed of those two objects, then mag-change din siya ng direction. Ang change niya ng direction ay depende kung sino sa kanilang dalawa yung may mataas na force. Next. Unbalanced forces can act in the same direction. So, just like this one. Or, pag sinabi natin unbalanced, meron siyang movement. Yun nga lang, same direction. Kanina kasi yung mga example natin, yung mga hinihila yung rope na magkaiba ng direction. Isang going to the left, isang going to the right. So, this one naman is the same. For example, is this one, ikaw itong unang stickman. So, tinutulak mo si cabinet, yung ating cabinet table. Tinutulak mo siya going on your right side, going on the right side for about 15 newtons. Tapos, tinulungan ka ng friend mo. Si friend ay nag-exert ng 10 newtons. So, what is the net force? Since parehas sila ng direction na parehas kayo ng direction na papunta sa right side yung ating cabinet, so you're just going to add your forces. Ulitin ko, pag magkaiba ng direction, ima-minus, isa-subtract. Pag same direction, i-add. So, 15 newtons plus 10 newtons is equivalent to 25 newtons. So, that will be the net force. Next, what direction is the cabinet moving? So, papunta siya on your right side. Okay, next one. Unbalanced force can act in opposite directions. So, katulad to ng naging examples natin kanina. So, for example, is these 6 people are tagging on a rope. 3 people pulls with a force of 20 newtons and the other with a force of 25. So, ito si 25. So, move ko ulit si screen going up. Ito si 25 newtons going on the right, then 20 newtons going on the left side. So, what will be the net force? Since magkaiba sila ng direction, we are going to subtract. So, 25 minus 20 is equivalent to 5 newtons. So, ibig sabihin, ang net force nito is 5 newtons. Next, what direction is the rope moving? So, ang movement niya is going to the right side. Okay, next. Friction and gravity. Pertaining to friction and gravity, so we must describe first the friction. So, friction opposes the motion of an object. When we say opposes, pinipigilan niya yung movement ng object. Or there are some cases na tinatawag natin siyang contact force. Pag sinabi natin contact force, there is a rubbing among those two objects. So, this contact reduces the speed of the object and releases heat. So, pag sinabi natin friction, ito yung nagkakos kung bakit tumitigil yung isang object. So, for example is yung sa moving car. So, ito yung reason kung bakit dun sa gulong ng sasakyan, mapapansin nyo na para siyang may mga curve. Para siyang may design. So, yung design na yun yung reason kung bakit kumakapit yung wheels ng sasakyan or di ba, once na nag-brake ka, so, pinreno mo yung vehicle. So, ang tendency, parang there is a friction that will happen doon between sa gulong tsaka doon sa kalsada. Kaya nga kapag pudpud na yung gulong ng sasakyan, pudpud na yung gulong ng bus, pinapapalitan nila yon kasi nga mababa na yung level ng friction nun. Yun yung kapag basa yung kalsada at pinreno mo, since wala na siyang mga curbs, mababa na yung friction niya, doon na aaksidente yung mga provincial buses natin. Next, what affects the amount of friction? So, first one is the force of push or pull. So, mas malakas na force, mas madaming force yung ibigay mo, mas mahirap patigilin yung isang object. The next one is the bumpiness of the surface. Mas lubak, mas mataas yung friction. Kaya nga kapag dumadaan sa lubak, ang tendency is medyo matagal. Matagal umandar. Kasi parang hirap na hirap yung sasakyan. Kasi nga, mataas yung level ng friction. The next one is the weight of an object. The heavier, the more friction. Mas mabigat, mas mataas yung friction. Okay. Next, we have here the gravity. Gravity, the force of attraction between all objects. So, the amount of gravity depends on two things. The object mass, the distance, the object masses, then we have here the distance between two objects. So, pertaining sa object mass, so mas mabigat, mas mataas yung friction, mas mataas yung level ng gravity. Okay, next one. Since the Earth is so large, everything on it is attracted to it even if they are not touching. So, kaya nga sinasabi natin na yung Earth is just like a giant magnet. Kasi nga lahat ng ihahagis mo pataas will be falls down. Kasi nga may presence ni gravity. So, example yung apple fall, yung kay Isaac Newton. So, yung apple fall because the gravity of the Earth. Because meron tayong tinatawag na gravitational force, kaya lahat ng ihahagis mo pataas, babagsak. So, magkakaibang planets, syempre magkakaiba ng level of gravity. So, ganun din sa ating mga satellites, katulad dito sa ating moon. So, sa moon, mababa lang yung level ng gravity. So, that's why astronauts, hindi sila, so that's why they have this kind of suits. Para mas, it contains the oxygen that they need. And also, para hindi sila masyadong hirap for their movement. Kasi lulutang-lutang sila dyan kung hindi sila naka-proper suit. Okay. To end my discussion here, so I have this question, which ball will hit the ground first? So, kapag sabay-sabay natin itong hinulog, sino yung unang babagsak? Or sino yung unang mapupunta dun sa baba? Yung bola ba na gawa sa kahoy, na gawa sa plastic, or yung ball that is made out of metal? So, what do you think is your answer? So, the answer will be the same. they will arrive at the same time kung nandun sila sa loob ng vacuum. So, pag kasi nasa vacuum, wala nang, it doesn't care about the mass. It only cares about the gravity presence. So, or simply, pag sinabi kasi nating vacuum, ito yung walang air. If ever there is no presence of air, tapos ibinagsak nyo ng sabay-sabay yung tatlong bolang yan, mapapansin nyo na sabay-sabay din silang babagsak. Kahit magkakaiba sila ng bigat or magkakaiba sila ng mass. So, doon umiikot ang ating force and motion. So, on my next video clip, that will talks about how to answer your learning test number 1, 2, and number 3. So, check out for my next video. Thank you. Okay, the wood, plastic, and the metal.